Anyway, yeah, here you go. Lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance.
Yeah, so glad I recorded none of that. Did you record all that?
No, I'm just doing Zoom.
Okay.
You're welcome.
And four stick.
What?
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online or at namely90s.com. You can find us online at namely90s.com. Or you can find us on Bluesky and Instagram at Namely90s. You can also find us on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@Namely90s. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Namely90s and sign up for one of those support levels so we can bring you more great content like this. Yeah, sorry, that was really disjointed. Like, I'm recording in a very different situation and I'm quite tired, so I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. It was busy. You guys were on vacation. You were here. You were there. You're working. Yeah, parties.
I'm doing the sultry after dark voice. Like, you're listening to Namely 90s After Dark.
I'm always just have that voice. I figured you were just like being a little quiet since the walls are thin at your current place.
A little bit that, but like later in the evening, I tend to get like that late settling chest phlegm from allergies, and it turns my voice into this sultry Namely 90s After Dark.
Welcome to Namely 90s After Dark. A lot has gone on since we saw each other last, which was Monday.
Really?
When the episode released. Yeah, I mean, even between the time that we recorded to the time the episode released, the world changed.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Joe Biden drops out of the presidential race, and Kamala Harris is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party,
and then became the nominee elect. How does that delegate thing
Not
work?
yet.
She has enough delegates,
right? But that's just like informally committed. They have to actually vote, but they're trying to have her confirmed by the 7th of August.
When's the DNC?
Mid to late August, I think.
Oh, I always thought it was like 2 weeks after the RNC, but I guess the Olympics are going on.
Well, Kid Rock wasn't available until mid-August again. So.
Oh, is he jumping ship from the man who literally this weekend said to people, if you vote for me this time, you won't have to vote ever again?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Let's see what else happened. A small company called CrowdStrike basically destroyed the internet. And especially the airline that we were flying on. That was fun.
But the day before, was it the day before?
It was while we were here.
Right.
Sorry, while we were there with you.
Yeah.
And so when we flew back, unfortunately, we weren't that affected by it. But it's like, I just still can't get over the fact that it's called CrowdStrike. Like, that sounds like the type of thing that someone would do at a presidential rally, for example.
Yes, or I don't know, make it a popular online multiplayer shooter.
Why are you striking a crowd, and why is it the name of your software company?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's weird, but it seems like they got it mostly fixed at this point.
From what I heard, they were making fun of Japanese people trying to say cloud strike, and then it just stuck.
Then they kind of deserve it. The problem is it crippled the entire economy and infrastructure because
Microsoft.
Someone pushed out an improperly formatted update, and the tool that was supposed to validate it, like, shouldn't have validated it, but it did. So now they're building a tool to validate the tool that validates the files, and they're going to like phase the releases so it doesn't go to everyone at once. It's like, why was this not thought of? But anyway, someone's probably being fired.
Yeah, that sounds cumbersome. I liked the, like, immediately someone made a fake Twitter account that was like, I was the guy that put, I got hired at CrowdStrike earlier this week, and then later that day, they fired me for pushing an update. Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. I also saw they're rebooting the cast, or they're rebooting the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. Apparently Paramount Plus had a series like 2 years ago. But the new cast has Camila Mendes and then a bunch of people I don't recognize.
Apparently they're rebooting or redoing Roadhouse with Glenn Powell. And apparently they're doing a Top Gun 3 as well.
Wait, you weren't joking about Roadhouse? They just released Roadhouse.
No, not Roadhouse. Backdraft. Sorry.
Oh, Backdraft. Why? That's like, Backdraft was like
the wrong words.
The perfect movie.
Like, they're just going to go back and ruin all your favorite movies with Glenn Powell.
Yeah. I mean, the original I Know What You Did Last Summer had like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Submachine Gun. Mm-hmm.
I like Camila Mendes. She was on Riverdale as Veronica. And then I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, which might save the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But
I think the damage is done.
Yeah, that's true. But as of this recording, they just announced at Comic-Con. Spoilers. RDJ is coming back. Robert Downey Jr. You may know him from Oppenheimer. You
may know him from Rehab.
Anyway. Yeah. He's coming back as Doctor Doom. And yeah.
AKA Iron Man has died and has turned into Doctor Doom, or like he just plays an entirely different character.
No details. He just walked out on stage with a bunch of other like background actors dressed up as Doctor Doom, took off the hood, took off the mask, and was like, did his RDJ
transitions lenses, and he did the
peace signs. Yeah, he put his brown sunglasses back on.
The weird thing is he did that in Oppenheimer too.
Right? Yeah. It's so weird. So, I mean, as they're like ending the multiverse saga, he's probably a variant of Tony Stark. Who knows? That movie doesn't come out for 2 years.
It's like Iron Man is killed and now is scorned and becomes this villain.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Next year we get the first Fantastic Four movie after Captain America: Brave New World and the Thunderbolts, both with Harrison Ford, and then Fantastic Four takes place in a different timeline. So who knows? But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. If you enjoyed any Fox Marvel movie from X-Men to present, which includes the terrible Daredevil with Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. Or even pre that, Blade. There's some Blade references. Like if you liked any Marvel movie prior to the MCU that wasn't Spider-Man, you should check it out.
What's the movie? I can't remember. The one they're on
an island.
They like recorded the whole movie and then decided to cram Giancarlo Esposito in there as like another character.
I think that's Captain America: Brave New World, which is coming out in February.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's the only one this year, and then that'll be next year.
Yeah. You were also getting a Disney Plus series around Halloween for Agatha Coven of Chaos. But yeah, only movie this year is Deadpool and Wolverine. So they think you'll be fine with 3 movies in the first half of next year. Because it's February, May, and July are the release dates.
Maybe they spent extra time on them because they didn't make as many this year.
They did.
They spent so much time that they fully completed a movie and then decided to add another character. That's not a good sign.
Hopefully it made it better, because like the Deadpool and Wolverine reshoots improved the movie from what we're told. But, you know, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds just doing their thing for 2 hours and 7 minutes. It's quite entertaining. And it's R-rated, so don't take your kids. Like, I was walking in there and there was a family with kids your age, or kids not your age, kids the kids were your kids' age. And I was like, I know this is rated R, right? In my head, but you know,
my understanding is the Deadpool movies are not terribly kid friendly.
No, there's a lot of blood and decapitation and sex jokes, and at least this one didn't involve a graphic pegging scene between Ryan Reynolds and Monica Baccarat, whatever her name is.
Church.
Yeah. But I mean, he says 2 F-bombs within the first like minute of the movie, so I don't know, gauge off of that.
This is totally off topic, but it somehow reminded me yesterday or the other day at work, we were talking about somebody brought in some incense and with like burning it. In your okay. And I was like, it reminded me of that thing, like the lantern the Catholics swing on the chain that produces smoke.
That's either frankincense or I think that's frankincense.
Oh, the thurible?
Yes, but it burns frankincense or just incense.
And that reminded me of the time that the Catholic priest stared at the cracker for like 3.5 minutes before he like crushed it up into the body of Christ, or sorry, the blood of Christ, and then people drank it during COVID.
Which is every Catholic ceremony, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it immediately reminded me of the lantern that you swing around
because of the smell
as you proceed.
I thought you're supposed to buy good incense for like actual, you know, burning, not like the kind that you would find at a church, which smells
like the back of a Spencer's.
Yes, but that's the smell. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that. That's what
it's just like sex toys, bongs, and incense back there.
Yeah.
Like novelty toys.
And a bunch of stale smoke or like fake smoke that the smoke machines have been spewing out for years, but never truly ventilated out. Speaking of stale smoke, it's the Olympics right now. Are you watching the Olympics? I know you've been busy since they started.
No, I was at work. I think I briefly watched. I was curious to see how Celine Dion did, which she did really well, considering she has her medical issue.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't see that. I know Snoop Dogg lit something.
Yeah, huge blunt. Lady Gaga performed, followed by like extreme death metal band named Gojira, which is a Japanese word.
Yeah, for Godzilla.
Right. Thank you.
Wait.
So it was quite. And then they reenacted The Last Supper using drag queens, which really triggered the right wingers, and I find that entertaining.
Is Lady Gaga a French person?
No.
Oh, they just had her play for.
Is she French Canadian? I don't know. She's saying.
Because I know was it a tie-in for Joker 2? Yeah.
Yeah, she's saying something in French, but she's American. I don't know.
Fascinating.
But Celine Dion is a French Canadian, and she's saying in French.
Interesting. Oh, Ryan Reynolds, also Canadian. You know, he grew up in the Couve, Vancouver.
The Couve, thank you. I was like, excuse me? It's like when people call Issaquah the Qua.
Exactly. That's not a slur, is it? For
no.
Vancouverites.
Alex Trebek is also Canadian. People forget that.
And Drake. We try to forget about him.
Go back.
Yeah, so I thought we'd talk about, 1996 Atlanta Summer Olympics, which apparently was the first year that they decided not to hold Winter and Summer Olympics on the same year, which put it into this 4-year cycle. So every 2 years, it's either summer or winter.
Right.
Apparently before that, they were doing both every 2 years. That's insane.
Every 4 years at the same time, but at the different seasons in the same year.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's crazy. How are you going to capitalize on money?
Yeah, true. Plus, I feel like people want a break. They just did all that Summer Olympic stuff, and they get like 4 months off of this.
Yeah,
and then wouldn't it keep them employed? No, because then it's like 4 years between. I don't know. It's confusing.
Well, I mean, other than like the IOC, who's actually employed like local, they employ local people or contract.
I remember the slogan was the 1996 Summer Olympics. They're going to be a blast.
Really? I mean, I've told this story before. I think I went to Disneyland or Disney World. I flew to Disney World in 96, probably that spring for spring break. And we flew through from Seattle to Georgia and then Georgia to Orlando, which was kind of crazy. Andrew's being attacked by a cat.
Yeah, he just clawed me to death. Okay, bye-bye.
And the airport was decked out for the Olympics, which was cool, ? I don't know. I didn't enjoy the Atlanta airport. But yeah, the 1996 Summer Olympics, the 26th Olympiad. That doesn't sound right. Why is it referred? Yeah, why is it referred to as the Centennial Olympic Games? Anyway, it's held in Atlanta, Georgia. It was the 4th Summer Olympics to be hosted by the United States and the 100th anniversary of the 1896 Summer Olympics in Athens, which was the inaugural edition of the modern Olympic Games. It was the first of 2 consecutive summer. Why is this interesting? First of 2 consecutive Summer Olympics to be held in predominantly English-speaking countries. The next one being the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, Australia, where Wolverine's from. Hugh Jackman. And yeah, it was the last one to be held in North America until the upcoming Los Angeles one in 2028. Oh gosh, that's going to be hectic.
The one in Los Angeles has an event in the Midwest somewhere. It's in like Kansas City. One of the events for the LA Olympics is taking place in like Kansas. For like lawn bowling or something. Because you need flat plains for that. Isn't in the French games, aren't they doing all the like water related outdoor stuff like surfing in Trinidad and Tobago, Wanabango? Oklahoma City.
That sounds. Why?
It's going to be for softball and canoe slalom.
There's softball in the Summer Olympics?
In Oklahoma, there is.
Fascinating. 10,320 athletes from 197 National Olympic Committees competed in 26 sports, including the Olympic debut of beach volleyball, mountain biking, and softball, as well as lightweight rowing, women's swimming, women's fencing, team rhythmic gymnastics, and women's association football. A total of 24 countries made their Summer Olympics debut in Atlanta, including 11 former Soviet republics, participating for the first time as independent nations since the fall of the USSR.
Interesting. I actually listened to a episode of Loveline around this time. Their archived version, and they were talking about beach volleyball being a new sport with some of the players. What was their take on that? It was a couple of the players came in as guests and they just talked about it. It wasn't like, it was men. It was men. The male players came in. It wasn't, what's his name?
Howard Stern, and he made inappropriate jokes towards the women beach volleyball players.
I'm sure he would have.
So yeah, I guess this is like the first Olympics that like really stuck in my brain, because I thought they always had volleyball and swimming for women and fencing. The 90s was a weird time, man.
Yeah. It wasn't as advanced and progressive as we thought it was.
Yeah. Was that because we were sheltered or because we were children? Anyway, United States took 101 medals and topped the medal table for the first time since 1984, and the first time since 1986 in a non-boycotted Summer Olympics.
I think it's the first time since 84, but there have only been like 3 Olympics since then.
Yeah,
it's not that crazy.
And they won the most gold with 44 and silver with 32 out of all the participating nations. Kind of weird. We invite people to our place and then we just beat them at our games. Notable performances include Andre Agassi, who tennised, Donovan Bailey set a new world record of 9.84 for the men's 100 meters seconds. 9.84 seconds. He ran 100 meters. 100.
That's a
seconds.
Lap, right? That's one lap.
This must be. Lila Podkopaeva became the second gymnast to win individual event gold medal after winning all-around title in the same Olympics. And we all know the Magnificent Seven.
Oh.
You remember them, right?
No, I was just saying I misspoke. 100 meters is the length of a straightaway on a 400-meter track.
Yes, that makes sense. That sounds familiar. The Magnificent Seven, they dramatically won the first ever U.S. gold medal in women's artistic gymnastics team all around. That would be Shannon Miller, Dominique Monk. Okay, I thought I could say all of these. Shannon Miller, I vaguely remember. Was this a year where the girl like broke her ankle and then still performed, or was that a different one?
I don't remember actually. This is not a distinct memory. I think I was 8.
Fair. I'm probably thinking of the 2004 Olympics. Anyway.
Yeah, I would have been in high school. Yeah.
Speaking of which, speaking of not remembering things, apparently there was a pipe bomb detonated at the Centennial Olympic Park. And killed 2, injuring 111. This was like a focal point for festivities and public gatherings. Years later, Eric Rudolph confessed to the bombing and a series of related terrorist attacks and was sentenced to life in prison.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Domestic Terrorist. That's a new Christmas movie coming out this year.
You could tell because his pipe bombs glowed red. Nope. Nonetheless,
No.
The 1996 Olympics turned a profit, helped by record revenue from sponsorship deals and broadcast rights and a reliance on private funding, among other factors. There's 8.3 million tickets sold for the events, and which was a record and only broken in 2024 for this year's games. And it had a lasting impact on the city of Atlanta, and revitalized some of Atlanta's downtown area. Cool. That's the Summer Olympics.
I feel like it would just like temporarily make the area better and then make it worse, but apparently it just made it better. It's good to know.
I mean, this is
what do they do with all those cardboard beds?
Heavy art editorial. Apparently they used it as residential housing for area universities.
The anti-sex beds.
Is that
what
that was
there, actually?
Oh. Yeah. 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. Any other?
Yeah, I don't remember watching it, but I do remember seeing news coverage of the bombing because my parents always watch like the local news, and then the world news came on with Peter Jennings on ABC.
Hello, I'm Peter Jennings.
Also a Canadian, by the way.
Oh, yeah. What a small world of Canadians.
Sorry.
Yeah, I thought I would remember more. I only have my one little airport story. It's not interesting.
It's not interesting. Yeah, the Atlanta airport sucks.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a thing we talked about. Let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of the recent casting announcement for the reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, we're looking back at the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Know What You Did Last Summer is a 1997 slasher film starring the Ghost Whisperer as Julie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Helen, Sebastian from Cruel Intentions as Barry, Fred from the live-action Scooby-Doo movies as Ray, Russ from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as Max, the teacher from Billy Madison as Elsa, Robin from 6 Days and 7 Nights as Missy, and D.B. Cooper from Prison Break as the Fisherman. The story starts on July 4th, 1996 in North Carolina with a beach day for Julie and her friends Ray, Helen, and Barry. On their way back home, they hit a pedestrian and, assuming they kill him, dump his body in the water, but not before Max passes them on the road. As Barry and Helen try to dump the body, the pedestrian wakes up and grabs Helen, so Barry pushes him into the water and the group swears to never talk about it again. 1 year later, Julie returns home for the summer, finding that her friends haven't pursued their own dreams due to PTSD from the incident a year prior. Julie receives a letter saying, "I know what you did last summer," and the friends assume it was Max who sent it, but Max gets killed by a dude in a raincoat with a hook. Julie and Helen meet with who they think is the dead pedestrian's sister, Missy, who gives them a misdirect about a Billy Blue who was in town visiting to pay respects for her brother. That night, the killer sneaks into Helen's house and cuts her hair. The next morning, Julie finds Max's body in her trunk, but when she opens it again to show Barry and Helen, the body is gone. Julie visits Missy again and learns that she thinks her brother committed unaliving after the death of his girlfriend, Susie. Julie matches handwriting from the letters received to the note that Missy had and realizes that the note left behind was a death threat. At the beauty pageant, Helen sees Barry get killed, so she gets a police escort home, but the killer then kills the officer, so she runs to her family's store where the killer kills her sister and then eventually her. Julie finds an article that mentions a Ben Willis, who was Susie's dad, and figures out that he killed Missy's brother, not them, and they hit him with their car. And he's the one that's out for revenge. So she goes to tell Ray at his fishing boat, but notices the boat is named Billy Blue, so she attempts to run, and a fisherman knocks Ray unconscious and invites her aboard his boat. But then she realizes the fisherman is Ben and the actual killer. She finds the bodies of her dead friends below deck before Ray gets aboard and saves her, severing Ben's hand, sending him overboard. The couple reconciles and are relieved they never actually killed anyone, and Ray reveals that he visited Missy out of guilt. The movie ends a year later with Julie back at college, and she sees the words "I still know" written in steam on her shower door before a dark figure crashes through and she screams. And that's I Know What You Did Last Summer in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now back to the show.
All right. So also back, the Olympics are back. You know what else is back, Andrew?
Futurama.
Futurama is back on Hulu, not a sponsor. Season 12, and apparently it's pretty good from the reviews I've seen so far, which is kind of weird. Last season was good, but I wouldn't be like with this week, with what is happening this week, I would be like, oh my god, you need to stop everything and watch Futurama. But that's the reviews I've seen.
Futurama is referenced at least twice in the Richard Nixon Presidential Library.
Nice. Oh yeah, you went and saw old Nixie boys.
Old Dick
library.
Nixon.
Tricky Dick. So we're going to take a BuzzFeed quiz, actually sponsored by Hulu, a paid post. This was from last year when the last season came out. So if we did do this before, let us know, because I tried to search it.
Will this actually be a decently made quiz?
Yes. Yeah, it does look actually decent. Yeah. And also apparently celebrate Family Guy's 25th anniversary with their new Halloween special on October 14th with Hulu. Anyway, first question, how do you unwind? Do you play video games? With a cocktail? Cuddle with my pet? Eat comfort food? Polishing my stabbing knife? Dance? Listen to music? Sit in the dark? Watch a sitcom? This is starting to sound familiar.
No, I don't remember this. I would cuddle with my pet while eating comfort food.
To unwind, these days I'll watch a sitcom.
I wonder who polishing my stabbing knife is to reference.
Yeah, I wonder.
Next one. Choose a superpower. Super strength, mind control, hyper cuteness, invisibility, time travel, speaking to animals, shape shifting, speaking every language, or breathing underwater.
I would, for this, I think speak every language would be nice.
That would be pretty cool. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't choose speak to animals.
Fair, yeah. What annoys you? My coworker, wearing clothes, all humans, tattletales, people treating me like a baby, work, my idiot family, making tiny mistakes, or people who break the law. That's my Zap Brannigan voice.
I'm going to go with people who break the law, actually.
That's fair. Recently I discovered people treating me like a baby. What's your goal?
When that was discovered.
What's your goal in life? I went to a diaper cafe recently.
Should I read this one? Or are we switching or no?
Oh, yeah. That's sorry. I thought you read the last one.
What's your life goal? To find love, to protect the universe, to be successful in my career, to destroy my enemies, to steal stuff, to be filthy rich, to end the human race, to travel the galaxy, or all the glory to Hypnotoad.
Interesting choices. Well, I guess my current goal should be to find love in any way possible.
I don't know who to choose. Whose life goal is to steal stuff?
I'm going to assume Bender.
Let's say based on these choices, career. But there's no,
yeah,
the choices are not great.
There's 9 choices. My turn, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Choose your superlative. Most likely to be famous. Biggest flirt. Most likely to talk to a wall. Most likely to insult you. Most likely to insult your mom. Most likely to save the planet. Best third eye. Most likely really? Best third eye? Most likely to rule the world. Most likely to eat from the trash. Biggest head.
I'm going to point out it's most likely to rule the underworld, which is different than the world. Just in case it affects your choice.
Sorry, there's a microphone clipping.
Biggest head. Most likely to eat from the trash. I'm going to say, oh boy, this is a tough one.
True.
I'm going to go with most likely to rule the underworld.
All right.
I'm a natural leader.
I think mine would be from these 9. Biggest head. These are size 8 hats.
Gee, we didn't talk about that with the glasses and such.
Yeah.
Pick a job. Actor, inventor, beer tester. Well, same thing. Firefighter, fashion designer, mafia boss, musician, or president.
Does president mean dictator?
Dictate.
I mean, I know I'm alcohol related, but I would like to be president.
All right. Why?
Just to save us from our current choices.
Yeah. Well, I think our current choices are better than the previous choices.
Only by half.
True. Pick a job. I'm going to go with inventor. because inventing is cool.
That was going to be my pick, but I figured you were going to go for it.
Wow. Good call.
Okay, racist quiz. I got the...
You're the Asian. Oh, no.
I got the Asian character. I got Amy. You are totally smart, but you don't let people know it. You know all the coolest places in town and enjoy a good party.
These are really short descriptions.
Yeah, way to go.
I got Leela, who doesn't have a third eye, but who has a second eye. It says, you are tough, hardworking, and an all-around badass. And no one loves cute animals more than you. Like how the animal question just makes you an animal lover just by choosing animal.
That's true. She does love her nibbler.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh, this is totally random, but I saw this thing that said, going forward, whenever someone talks about JD Vance, they're going to say JD Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the couch effing memes, and then which is you don't know?
No, maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I did like the one Democratic vice president hopeful who was like, JD Vance has no conviction, but I suppose his running mate has 34.
That's pretty good.
Zing.
Yeah, no, there was this whole thing about someone just had this random tweet where it was like, JD Vance in pages 179 to 181 of his book Hillbilly Elegy talks about masturbating by putting a warm glove into the middle of a couch and effing it. And then like it started a whole thing of couch effing memes for JD Vance, and now
how do I find these?
But it like so they deleted the tweet because it was just a joke. It wasn't true. Although someone did a quick control search on the PDF version of his book, and he mentioned couches 10 times.
This is a picture of the friend's couch
with him like behind it smiling. And then now it's evolved to, he once talked about how porn is disgusting because he once Googled and found a woman sleeping with a dolphin, and now there's a bunch of dolphin
I've seen the one where it's the Simpsons looking around at their destroyed couch.
No.
I'll send it to you. Anyway. That's not about couch effing, yeah.
Yeah, final thoughts about Futurama. Way to bring it back to Futurama, Matt Groening, The Simpsons.
You're welcome. I will probably watch it.
I will too. I don't use Hulu much during the summer. This is a good reason to use it. And yeah, that's it for this week's edition.
I dropped that in the chat.
Namely 90s, where we can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Instagram, Bluesky, and YouTube at Namely 90s with 90s, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/namely90s, also with 90s. And finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Couches, Pocket Cast, Castbox, iHeart, Good Pods, wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time. Key after couch.